So, but then I might feel guilty that, like, how would you continue the podcast without me?
Yeah. No, I just keep re-releasing these episodes.
Okay, yeah.
Season 2 would just be season 1, but with different names. I'll just change the names.
Yeah, and it would just be a series of repetition is the path to enlightenment.
Exactly, repetition is the path to enlightenment. Exactly.
Yeah. But it's interesting. And
actually, maybe your suicide would maybe help the podcast in terms of publicity.
Yeah. Wait, so have you ever had suicidal thoughts?
Have I ever had suicide? No. And I can honestly swear, like, I know I've got an aversion to honesty, like we said in an earlier podcast. I've never had suicidal thoughts. Okay. What about you?
Well, so I think this is also another stigma, that there needs to be maybe a space between
wanting to harm yourself and
like
thoughts.
how intense we call, like,
what is a suicidal thought?
Yeah, I've definitely had thoughts about, like, in this moment I probably would prefer not to exist, right?
So is that a suicidal thought?
Yeah. No, I don't know. So I've never had a thought that was so intense that I would seriously contemplate killing myself, like in an actionable way.
Yeah, but also that could be relevant to all thoughts. Yeah. Like when was the last time we had a thought that we were just like, oh my God, like I really want Chinese food, and then we went and got Chinese food?
Yeah.
We're not that resolute about anything.
Yeah, and we have so many thoughts in a day. So I think something similar is like, it's very natural to just be like, well, at least for me, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like you're driving down the motorway and you just want to veer off to the side and just crash into the side. This is just this happens to me all the time. I always think about this. Okay. Never do it.
I mean, why didn't you tell me that before we got into a car together? Like, what are you telling me?
This is the first weekend.
Yeah. Is this why you don't drive? Yeah, okay, this makes more sense. Yeah.
No, but even when you're at the train station and you're waiting for the tube, there's always that certain like impulse that you would quite like to jump onto the tracks, no?
No.
Wait, am I like? I thought I was just like tapping into just normal universal consciousness that people are not like comfortable enough to say.
I think I've definitely. There's been definitely been a couple times when I've thought like, what would happen if I jumped in front of this train? But I wouldn't say it's like a regular thought, and it's more one of like.
But it's like a daringness.
Yeah. It's not to kill ourselves. It's more like what would happen.
Yeah. I guess you go into this sort of space, but there's that almost. I think it's just in the same way that you're quite like to punch something.
Actually, you do get that. When you're on a very high, like a very high point, like on top of a building or something, on a high bridge, and your legs become slightly stiff because they're like, are you contemplating? Are you going to jump off? Like there's that split second.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I think I get this, but it's so there is a huge jump or a huge gap between
that thought and being able to do it.
Yeah, but not just being able to do it, bring it into a new realm of thought in terms of like a more practical realm of thought. This is imagerial.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it goes to this like, maybe there's this like powerful desire with reason and you're like, yes, okay, this is a good idea. I want to do this. How do I practically do it? And then you start creating, and then you're like, wait, this is nuts. I'm actually thinking about this. And then you're like, this is what I want.
So, but in this pathway, there's a lot of planning involved.
Yeah, I think,
And then that's why, often when people do commit suicide, we're like, what were the signs? Were there signs? Were there protective factors?
But can it be...
Did they stop looking after their kids or something? Did they stop contacting people? But what about when it's spontaneous?
Yeah, really impulsive.
But
that's kind of maybe what I was getting to with the personality types. Is it quite... I mean, because it's such a radical move.
Yeah, and a permanent move, right?
Yeah, radical, permanent.
Like, even if you survive, your life has been changed forever.
Yeah. Yeah, in that it's not.
Yeah, but either you've caused yourself massive injury, or
if you survive,
or then you need to tell everyone that you've tried to commit suicide or something. Like something will definitely change as a result of you.
Yeah, it's quite it must be quite shameful for a lot of people to say that you.
Yeah.
Not only were you really didn't want to live, that you failed to do like.
Yeah, and also now, do you want to live? Because that's the thing, isn't it? Like failed suicide attempts, there are a lot of cases where people do ultimately kill themselves. It just takes a few goes.
Yeah, but then there's other cases where they get a shock and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I was thinking like that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. So then that does feel like you need to kind of veer people away from it because they're just not in their right mind. Maybe they are just in the right mind.
Yeah, but is it the most beautiful thing that you can just choose when you don't want to live anymore, when you don't want to exist?
Yeah. I think it's this amazing, like, strange paradox that we have. It's amazing that we have so much power over whether we can live or not.
Yeah.
but then also so much power, so little power
over whether we can live or not. Because so many things can kill us every day.
Yeah. And I think the euthanasia thing becomes, when you're talking about AIDS, it's like a whole different space. But there is definitely like something to do with nature involved there. It's not just about pain. It's just like medicine is anti-nature in so many ways, or you can see it in that way, right? We're just postponing life to no end, right? For some people, just to keep people alive in order for their attachment.
Like, hooked up to ventilators and stuff, like a shell of their former selves, right? But I don't want to go down the euthanasia route.
Yeah, it's right, in a way.
Yeah, I like the suicide route because it's like a conscious decision that you are making.
Yeah. Is it always conscious?
You think sometimes it's subconscious?
No, as in, like, maybe it's just, well, like you said, it's just very impulsive. To the point that you don't really contemplate it. It just manifests. You just like, I need to kill myself.
Yeah, that's like such. Actually, I don't know if that's less courageous than the other.
But maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe some.
Yeah, but some people have such low tolerance, or some people. Okay, why are some people
so
capable
impulsive,
of?
Like,
why are some people capable of making that decision, and some people not?
It must have things to do with. Might have things. These things must have things to do with upbringing, right? And like maybe dependencies of family structure and notions around the value of life, depending on religion.
Oh, so that's interesting. Because in a lot of religions, suicide is immoral, right?
Mm. Yeah.
It's considered immoral.
Yeah, because I think maybe from that gratitude thing where you've been given a life by God, don't offend God by
waste
taking it.
Yeah. Not so much wasting it, you're right, don't offend God by killing it.
Yeah. It's like getting a Christmas present and then just smashing it on the table. I think that's...
Shit, is that a good analogy for suicide?
Well, no, I'm not saying that's what it's like. That's maybe what people see it to be. Like,
no, but normally in that analogy, the Christmas present that you've got is broken. Because we associate suicide with people being broken. But what I find really fascinating is what we were trying to touch on, that idea where people aren't broken, and yet they still have that urge to commit suicide.
But I think this idea of just killing yourself in order to explore death is not a common one.
I mean, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to make it as the beginning of this book, because it's just an absurd. Everybody sees death as this really horrible,
the final thing.
Final thing. But so what I think is interesting is like okay, so let's take a religion like Hinduism, where there is an afterlife.
Yeah, so then
right? So how does that affect whether the number of suicides, or whether people suicide, or whether they do it with like happiness or not?
Yeah, but maybe that is why I'm so pro suicide, or like I can accept it, because I'll just be like, they'll come back in the next life and hopefully they'll be happy.
You don't think there's finality?
No.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hopefully there'll be happiness for them in the next life, whether they come back as a butterfly or a human or whatever.
Okay. But then do you think that because somebody kills themselves, then they won't be given like a good afterlife because it's an immoral act?
No, because I think it's independent. Like what we do in this life is independent of what we're doing in the next life.
Yeah. And also, like, generally as an idea, we as a society think we have free will over pretty much everything else we do.
Yeah.
So why would we not
have
like extend that free will
to death?
To like, yeah. Why should we feel like we shouldn't do that?
Yeah, but I do think society, like in terms of law, people don't get arrested for trying to commit suicide. They do get sectioned and put into a mental health hospital.
But is it illegal? It's not.
I don't think it's not illegal, but it's seen as a deviation of your mental health.
Yeah. There's no way out of that, really. You can't have an attempt at suicide and not be
sectioned. Yeah, right? You would be sectioned. You'd be taken to at least a mental health assessment.
Not sectioned, but like for a few days at least.
Yeah. They would definitely observe you for 72 hours and then put you under section or release you with lots of antidepressants.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think we really need to talk to somebody who's a lot more kind of familiar with this.
What, suicide?
Well, actually, you're very familiar with like people. I mean, but for somebody who's like tried to do it, or like
So when I speak to the patients who've tried to do it, like the overriding common theme is that they had nothing to live for, that life was meaningless, and that they felt their protective factors, whether that's their family or their loved ones, their children, they didn't feel any attachment to them anymore.
Yeah.
But that sort of common theory, I think, is just, it's not enough for me. I wanted to know if there was something more in suicide.
What? Like, so the common theory of just, like, there not being enough in life?
Yeah, there not being enough in life. And yeah.
So, I mean, what more? What do you...
Because I still think there must be something more. Like this person A feels like there's nothing in life.
Yeah.
And yet they didn't complete the act of killing themselves. But person B, did they feel something more than that? And is that why they were able to complete the act of killing themselves? Or does it just come down to... Yeah, maybe they just felt it more. Maybe it just comes down to the fact that people have different strengths and different weaknesses.
Yeah, could it actually do with physical strength? Or
Yeah, it could be to do with physical strength.
So maybe there's things to do with, like... I know this sounds kind of nuts, but, like, somebody who can eat disgusting food, a higher tolerance for eating disgusting food, like loads of, like, slimy bugs and stuff, without flinching. Is that the sort of the kind of character that you require in order to be able to kill yourself? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so actually,
you have to be able to do stuff
and just deal with the fact that the knife is in your chest or something.
Yeah, and you have to be able to do things that normal people probably, not normal people, but like most people couldn't do.
Yeah. But I think also one reason people fail is most people, probably the most common way to kill yourself is by taking pills, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody finds you and then they pump your stomach.
Or often they ring people before they've taken the pills, or they ring in the immediate aftermath.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's regret.
Yeah.
That's regretting the action because then they realize the finality of it.
Yeah.
But then that needs to be taken into account because that person has already regretted their action. So they didn't really want to kill themselves.
Yeah, but this is exactly what we're talking about though, right? Because
they just didn't know they didn't want to kill themselves.
Because we're saying to kill yourself, you're going against your body, right? But maybe it's your mind actually going against you as well.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not so separate, the mind and the body, right?
Yeah, but then maybe the decision to kill yourself comes from the soul.
Oh, shit.
Because your mind and your body are saying no, but something is overpowering them.
Mind and your body, I mean, I don't know.
And we do over-romanticize the idea that there's some regret. You know, like when you jump off the building, people are like, there's a common theme in like movies and stuff that people are like, oh, wait, why did I jump?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we do over-romanticize that notion.
What do you mean over-romanticize?
Like,
just make movies out of it.
Yeah, but we like the idea that there's some regret. Like we find it abhorrent that someone could be so resolute in jumping off the building and actually enjoy the fact that they've jumped off.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of people who do that as well, right? Huh?
Yeah, I suppose, but they don't live to tell the tale, right? So they...
Yeah, true. But then there's also, it's just, maybe it's just the weight of something that you just, also maybe in a sense there's a contentment. Maybe there's actually a contentment necessary for suicide. Because you actually need to be just comfortable with outcome.
Yeah,
like,
you're comfortable with it, knowing this is the last thing you'll do.
Yeah, or just like not so attached to moments and how things come. Like if you just like, it's not necessarily meaningless, but just that I'm fine with what happens, right? And I've decided maybe in quite a practical way that I don't really want to live because I don't see much point in it.
So, but also that sort of attitude leads to you also being fine with living.
Yeah, generally speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but there can be a sort of apathy, there can be that, which is like apathetic.
Yeah, but apathy...
So it's not contentment. It's a serenity. It's an apathetic serenity that lies beneath the depression.
Yeah, but I think that apathy is what leads to failed suicide attempts. Like, I don't care whether I live or die, so I'm going to attempt suicide, but I don't care whether I'll live or die.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the other way around. It's that kind of, the higher energy that prevents you from killing yourself.
We should speak to someone who's tried to commit suicide.
Yeah. This is kind of...
Yeah, and also because my patients, like, a lot of them are already in the mental health system, so they've been through this process before. So I think a lot of them, when they vocalize their feelings and stuff, maybe they've been told to say these things, or like maybe they know to say these things. So it'd be quite interesting to speak to someone who's tried to do it, but outside of the confines of a mental health system.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's maybe good to have like both because it's in an abstract way we can like go to like different places, which maybe sensitive and not respect to like doesn't correlate to a specific person's experience.
Yeah. Well, if we've got any listeners that have been through this before, and are comfortable sending us an email of their experience, we'd love to read it.
Yeah,
and obviously email you back. But
and